Well, signs of the storm can still be seen throughout town today. Some residents tell me although the brunt of the storm only lasted about 20 minutes, the wind alone was enough to send some to their basements. And the landfill won't reach capacity for about another 25 years, but that's still a concern. That's because on average, the landfill gets about 600 tons of trash a day. Now the agency is exploring their options as it's filling up.
Well, it's a very active scene right now. Behind me, you could probably see there are some cars still completely off the tracks on their sides. And then further down this way, we'll give you a look. There are cars completely crunched together. But luckily, there were no reported injuries. Even if you don't know how to ski or snowboard, they have classes here to help you get down the slopes. And rentals for those without gear. I'm here on 1st Street and 3rd Avenue, and behind me, I'll step out of the way a little bit, is this old vacant commercial building with a partial wall collapse. The wind that came through here earlier today was truly unbelievable. Some people telling me they've never seen anything like it here in Cedar Rapids, and I can certainly agree. Ron, I've been on scene of this northwest neighborhood in Cedar Rapids for about an hour and a half. Now, at this time, we do not have a lot of information, but what we do know is that several law enforcement agencies are investigating at this home right here behind me. Now let's take a look at some video that I shot from earlier today. I spoke with a Marion police officer who referred me to the U.S. District Attorney's Office here in eastern Iowa. They confirmed for us that they are looking for something, but would not specify what. Once you find a bike or scooter to use, you simply pull up the app on your phone and scan the QR code. It was in this neighborhood that Malik Sheets was killed after a party in the early morning hours. According to a preliminary police investigation, they believe that there was a large gathering in this house behind me. An argument began and shots were fired. It can also be used as a tool for parents. Well, say I want to live in an area that has a school with the highest state rating. I can use the website to search schools individually, or I can use the comparison graph to see how schools stack up across the state. We're following breaking news this midday. Dubuque police have identified a suspect in a murder investigation. Arrest warrants have been issued for Deontay W.B. Elson in the shooting death of Curtis Smothers. On July 2nd, police responded to the 400 block of Loris Boulevard. There are no floodwaters in sight, but that hasn't stopped insurance premiums from skyrocketing. The owners are currently paying around $4 grand a year, and they tell me they just found out that that's going to steadily increase over the next 4 years. In Cedar Rapids' iconic Czech village, history is alive and well. One of the staples, a bakery built in 1903, is at risk of closing its doors for good.
There's a reason why there aren't any scratch bakeries out there. There's just no money in it.
Owner John Richarek will be the first to tell you he didn't dream of opening a bakery.
Still doesn't really want to own a bakery.
But it's the history that drew him in.
Just Czech. Seriously.
Recipes and equipment that have survived the decades are keeping the traditions alive.
Making the hoska here now. We make rohlik and babovka and a lot of Czech items.
Traditions now being passed to the next generation.
When I bite into them, I can kind of see the juice stuff, and I know the bird's baked.
The sweet smell of colashes draws a crowd, even from out of state.
My rule when I'm traveling is to never go anywhere that I could go at home. So I'm always drawn to the local coffee shop.
Now, that's all being threatened.
I got a letter 4 months ago that said every year for the next 4 years, it's going to go up 25%. The premium is going to go up 25%.
While the items are worth savoring, $2 colashes don't bring in the big bucks, so they're looking at other options.
If I had some revenue from the upstairs, we'll be able to make that manage with the exorbitant flood insurance. I can't make it go away, but at least I can find the funds to pay for it.
In 2008, floodwaters closed the doors for 10 months. The community stepped in to help bring the bakery back to life.
I mean, that's when we knew that it was, going to be okay,
Now, the community's coming together once again.
This has been great. Very humbling. Yeah. I'm usually the guy that runs out and helps people when there's a problem.
To save one of Cedar Rapids' last gems of Czech history. Now, renovating the upstairs into an Airbnb will cost about $20,000. Now, a GoFundMe for the business has raised about $2,000 of that in only about 3 days.
From a financial perspective, it makes 0 sense, but from a humanity perspective, it makes perfect sense.
NewBoCo has become ground zero for a community-wide effort to print and assemble protective shields for area healthcare workers.
Hospitals are just using personal protective equipment way faster than they normally do. So there's this gap until the good stuff comes in. They need a temporary answer to protect the staff, protect the patients, and so we're trying to build temporary usable stuff that will solve most of the problem. It's not as good as the good stuff, but it will help, in the interim, and that's really the goal.
NewBoCo, a nonprofit helping businesses innovate using their connections and technical experience from Baratech Industries to begin printing prototypes, beginning with an open source design online.
We started there, and then me being an engineer and manufacturing expert, I just created my own quick that I knew would be quick and easy to put together.
Right now, they're working with healthcare professionals to perfect the design, one that can be quickly assembled.
If this goes really badly for society, we might need 100,000 units across all the hospitals in Iowa. That's the only way we're going to get there within the next, 5 days.
One probably takes between 3 and 4 hours to print, and so you can't do it with one printer. You have to have many printers, and so that's where the community came in.
Since Sunday, around 100 Iowans with printers of their own getting involved. Everyone just trying to do their small part.
I have friends and family in the healthcare industry, and I don't want them to get sick, and so everybody needs it. It's the human thing to do.
Step by step, we're going to give you an inside look at the life of an absentee ballot, from when the request forms enters the mail to when your ballot arrives at the county services building. This year, more Iowans than ever are opting for the absentee ballot process, setting records in counties like Lynn and Johnson, where voter participation is in the tens of thousands.
We're going to set a record level here in Johnson County for a primary.
We have about 37,000 ballots that we have mailed out to date, which is probably 60% more voters than we normally have participate in a primary.
Auditors Joel Miller in Lynn and Travis Wiper in Johnson said they've gotten more inquiries about the process and concerns about the security.
I hear people say, I don't trust it. I can assure you that it's a very trustworthy operation. We now have intelligent barcodes that go on ballots, so we track them.
It's just, a lot of little things people don't see that, when they say, oh, absentee voting's full of fraud, well, that's just a total myth.
So let's take a look at the process. It may vary slightly by county, but we got a peek at the 7-step process in Lynn. It all starts here, where absentee request forms are received. Part of the form indicates what ballot you get, Republican or Democrat.
If you're an independent, you have to pick a party. You don't get some, in-between ballot. And the other thing is then we have different ballot styles based on where you live.
Step 2, this secure storage room is where absentee request forms are digitized, ensuring that voters only get one ballot. Labels are then attached to the envelopes.
So the labels will tell us with a barcode on it what ballot they need. Then we have another group, we'll fold it, stuff it in that secrecy envelope, seal it, then it goes into a tray. Tray goes over to our postage meter.
The group, a bipartisan team who sends out the mail, a requirement by law. Once a voter fills out the ballot and sends it back, it comes here to be received and verified. Rebecca Stonowinski, Deputy Commissioner of Elections, says it's critical voters remember to sign.
We have a bipartisan team, a Democrat and a Republican citizen, that take this envelope and they separate the ballot so it's not kept together. We keep the signature forever.
Ensuring no one knows how you voted.
So if anyone was worried that maybe someone voted on their behalf, you could check the signature?
We could check the signature, but the ballot is always kept separate.
Once verified, they're scanned into a database. Barcodes ensure the ballot is tracked at every step and that no voter can submit more than one ballot.
We're scanning in the envelope to make sure that we have a record of what date it's received. Next, those ballots will go into our secure cage back here. Only 3 people have access to that room, and the ballots remain there until the citizen board of Democrats and Republicans comes to count them on election day.
We can verify just about every aspect of this. We can verify when the request came in. We can verify when the ballot went out. We can verify when the ballot got put back into the mail. We can verify that that we received the ballot.
The ballot scanners are tested with sample ballots for accuracy and then secured
with a seal that has a number and a code on it to be sure that on election day nothing's been tampered with.
Where that bipartisan team will ensure the physical ballots match up to the database and are finally counted.
It seems like a lot more steps for us, but you have to remember we're required to have 3 people at every precinct on election day. So right now trying to find enough people to work those sites, in and of itself is a huge task.
With most poll workers being older Iowans, the auditors hope voters take advantage to vote from home and as a practice for the November general election.
And I want the people to trust us. Trust that this process that we have, not only in Linn County, but in the surrounding counties and the entire state, is a verifiable, trusting process.
Each day, county auditor offices go through obituaries and remove the ballots of those who have died, a requirement by law. The barcode process ensures that someone cannot cast an absentee ballot and then show up at the polls on election days and cast another ballot.